Alexei Hay for Rolling Stone. Home Culture. Culture features softer side of Howard Stern after years of psychotherapy. The king of all media looks back, repents, and rescues few kittens by Andy Green. May 22, 2019. Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, email. Show more sharing options. TUMBLR. Pin it. LinkedIn, WhatsApp. Print. Howard Stern hasn't released book in 24 years. Back in those days, he was guy who didn't think twice about calling Rosie O'Donnell fat pig, using giant, rotting fish as mallet to spank naked woman on the air, or viciously mocking member of his whack pack with Down syndrome. He dubbed Gary the retard. On the cover of the book Miss America, he dressed as drag queen, and inside he offered detailed accounts of his private cybersex sessions with fans. I needed her to make me come, he wrote about woman he called hot little slut. My balls were bluer than the tip of Walt Disney's frozen nose. The Howard Stern of 2019, who spends his free time fostering rescue cats or painting watercolors, can only shudder when that book and its 1993 predecessor, Private Parts, comes up. If read them, I'd want to jump out window, he says. I haven't picked them up in years. They are snapshots of who was back then, and want to take that guy and shake him was selfish prick. Can just see that quote in Rolling Stone, I was selfish prick. But it's true. It's before 4 a.m. on Thursday in mid-April, and Stern is usually at his Hamptons home or Palm Beach estate by now, since he broadcasts Mondays through Wednesdays only. But he's come into his SiriusXM studio in New York for rare extended interview time to the release of his new book, Howard Stern Comes Again, compendium of his best interviews with the likes of Lady Gaga, Stephen Colbert, Gwyneth Paltrow and other A-listers. Howard Stern photographed in New York on April 19, 2019, by Alexei Hay. Grooming by Tony Coburn. Styling by Ralph Cirella. Shirt and jacket by John Varvatos. Stern is now friends with ex-antagonists like O'Donnell. Gary is almost never seen. When he is, Stern lovingly calls him Gary the Conqueror. Retard has vanished from Stern's vocabulary, along with bits that demean women or minorities. He vacations with friends like Jimmy Kimmel and Jennifer Aniston, and goes to parties with Jerry Seinfeld, Steve Martin and others he used to torment. To Stern diehards, this is blasphemy, the equivalent of Johnny Rotten singing Pat Boone songs. Superfans gather each day on the Howard Stern subreddit to blast their former hero, calling him Hollywood Howie, or PC Howie, and arguing over when they stopped listening. Oddly enough, they all seem tuned in to current show developments. But as Stern settles onto the studio couch, usually reserved for show guests, he says he doesn't care about the Reddit crew. As he reveals in his new book, he recently had 2 cancer scares. First, he almost underwent chemotherapy when his white blood cell count was off the charts, but discovered at the last moment that he was suffering from mercury poisoning from eating too much fish. Then, in hypochondriac's nightmare scenario, he got full-body scan and doctors saw spot on his kidney. They said there was 95% chance it was cancer, and he had major surgery, only to wake up and learn it was cyst that had burst. In the book, he also says that after many years of psychotherapy he has come to terms with his narcissism. He says he no longer has any desire to humiliate or insult guests to score ratings. In an era when former heavyweights like Charlie Rose and Matt Lauer have been pushed out of the industry due to their treatment of women, it's no small irony that Stern's couch is now where some of the biggest names in the industry go for in-depth interviews. It's a sort of third act surprise that few people would have ever predicted for the guy formerly known as Fartman. It's been 24 years since your last book. What took so long for you to write third one? I'd say to my agent, I don't want to do another book. They fucked up every summer ever had. Writing is the hardest thing for me. I'm used to talking things through. Sitting down and actually being on my computer while the sun is shining outside is just brutal. It's nothing enjoy. It's just revisions, revisions, revisions. But always had an idea for an interview book because thought it revealed more about me than the person was interviewing, just based on the questions and where my head